Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I am excited to be here this evening. I am expecting a guest, but technology happens. So, we were going to be discussing the ABCs of LinkedIn. I cannot remember. I think it was attract, build up your connections, and your content. So we are going to be waiting for a few minutes to see if our guest arrives. But in the meantime, let me introduce myself. I'm America's Supermom, mother of 15 children. And we still have 10 children at home. So pray for me, everybody. It can be crazy. Right now, it's summertime. So if you're a parent, I know you already understand that it seems like the refrigerator door never gets closed. They're always eating and they're bored. They always want you to take them somewhere. They want to have a friend over or go over a friend's. They want to go shopping. They want to do this, do that. So it is a time where I feel like I am always pulled in so many different directions. And so I think it's really important for us to always remember to have a schedule, to have some type of consistency on the things that we do so that we can be able to have a little bit more flexibility when life happens. Because trust me, between dentist visits and making sure that people are going to the doctor and all these things before school starts back up again has been kind of crazy. But my guest has arrived, so I am excited. I'm gonna give her a few minutes to kind of get herself together, but I'm gonna be starting a book club, so to speak. We're gonna be talking about the compound effect. So we're gonna be reading this book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And so far, this book is really good. It talks about how you can make small choices to lead to big outcomes. So the analogy that he put in the book thus far that I've read is that if you were to hey Andrea, if you had the option of choosing $3 million cash or taking a penny and doubling this penny every day for 31 days. Now most people are like, I am not taking a penny, but it's like one of those trick answers. If you were to take the penny at the end of just 31 days, you'd have 10,700,000 and something. I can't remember the number. Just from a penny doubling every day. So that is the power of compounding things, the interest that you can compound, as well as the momentum that you can get from doing these small little things a little bit every day. So that's a little thing that we're going to be starting in July. We're going to be doing it on Saturdays on Clubhouse. So I'll put the link in there. But that's The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Give him a shout out. So my guest is Angela, and we met on a Zoom call and feel like I've known her forever. But this podcast was supposed to be sometime last year, y'all. But life happens. So she is here today, and so I'm excited to talk about the ABCs of LinkedIn. Okay, so here she is now. Hey, Angela.
Hey, how are you?
I'm
America's
good.
Supermom.
Well, you're looking well, girl. It's been a long time.
It has been. It has been. It's been too long, but
Mhm.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me on the podcast tonight.
Awesome. Well, tell
And hey,
everybody.
everybody, wherever you are.
Yes, we have Andrea who has joined us, a couple other people. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we dive into the ABCs of LinkedIn.
So, once upon a time, I worked in high tech. I was actually a computer engineer out of school. So, I did the high tech thing for 20 years. And then 2008, when everything had a downturn and I got laid off, I was like, good, I don't need high tech anymore. I'm done with that. So I was kind of futzing around. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then somebody said, well, why don't you run for school committee? Politics. I don't really have a filter. So you really want me out there in the school department? But anyway, whatever. I did it. I rose to the occasion. However, I live in the city of Newton, which has nearly 90,000 residents, and
Wow.
door knocking was not for me. I don't even like people that much. So
Yeah.
I started on Facebook, and that's how me and Facebook got together. And it was good for a
Mm.
while because, back in 2008, Facebook also didn't have any filters.
Right, right.
So I did a lot of work with local campaigns, and then I said, you know what? The people that really need social media are these small businesses, these nonprofits. So I then pivoted and fully launched a business. And now for the last 10 years, I've been working, and especially actually in COVID, I've been doing a lot more nonprofit work. But that's what I do. I'm trying to
Mm.
help businesses and nonprofits connect to their audience, right? Because I like to remind them that Facebook likes will not pay the bills. You got to figure out how to convert those people. And that's what I help them to tell their story so that they can actually have that conversion occur.
I
So that's
love that.
what I do.
I love that because, a lot of people, I'm not, I guess I won't say exactly vain, but that's kind of the vanity metrics where they're going,
Exactly.
how many people like it, how many shares, but then at the end of the week, they don't see any extra dollars in their bank account. So,
Exactly.
what are some of the things that they're missing that is preventing that conversion from happening?
They did first though, especially for, well, actually, I would say nonprofits and business owners alike. What's
Mhm.
missing is the consistency. Like
Mm.
they don't, they're busy. Everybody's busy, and nonprofits don't have usually have a lot of resources if it's a smaller nonprofit.
Mhm.
And you just got to be consistent with it. You got to get a system together. Because if you think
Mhm.
you're just going to go post one time and then come back 2 more days and post or another week or a month later, it doesn't work. You have to be consistent. I mean, and frankly, if you only do it once a month, if you do it once a month and it's quality content, at least it's quality content once a month. It's the consistency where
Mm.
everybody dies on the sword.
Yeah.
And you just can't. And when they finally get it, and they start got to really think through it, like, okay, you just can't have one thought. I mean, nobody has just one thought. You
Right.
have to think about it, get the calendar out. So it takes a little work to put the system together. It's a lot of work, especially that first time out. But I tell you, rinse and repeat.
Mhm.
Rinse and repeat, and you will find after time, okay, well, this worked, and maybe something else didn't work, or
Mhm.
Facebook worked, or IG worked, or maybe it's LinkedIn. Whatever the thing is, that's what you want to do and stick with. And that's the other thing, they do try to do too much at once.
Right.
They got to be everywhere and do all the things. And no, you need to be where your audience is. So figure that out, and that's where you go. So
I
if you're
love that.
on Facebook and all your people are on IG, what the heck you doing on Facebook? Get on over to IG. So you just got to figure it out. So it takes a little work in the beginning, but once you kind of get your legs under you, it's all good.
I love that. Now, so when we're talking about this consistency,
Mhm.
what is the best thing to be consistent about? Is it just posting? Should they do video? What type of content should they
Yes.
start out with if somebody is saying, "Look, I've had it. I'm getting ready to start over." So what would you recommend?
So video works on every platform, but a
Mhm.
video takes, again, that's one of those things it takes, it's like, what do I want to say? You got to build the muscle, right?
Right.
The first time out, your video is probably going to completely suck. But there's a lot of ways to do video, and people always want to, they look at and they see, they think about the TV show. We're not doing that kind of video. We don't
Mhm.
got a production team. We're not doing none of that. If you have 5 good photos, put that together and make a video
Mm.
and add the caption, and you're done. Stop overthinking it. If you got a Facebook Live here, or you got a LinkedIn Live, you got any kind of live, that's video content. Cut and paste that thing to Sunday. That's your content. So think about how you can use this content. Don't, like, people just overthink it too much. There's a
Yeah.
lot of tools out there. Um, there's a woman on LinkedIn, and all she talked about is video. Jillian Whitney, and her
Mhm.
motto is easy peasy, and she
Okay.
literally has step by step, this tool, that tool. You need to do captions. Follow Jillian Whitney.
Okay.
Everything you need is right there.
I love that. Now,
Yep.
so, and that is really good because I think a lot of people, you're right with the overthinking because they're like, I want to sound like an expert, or I
Mhm,
want to tell them everything I know,
mhm.
So it's like this video, you're intimidated because you're trying to tell them too much stuff rather than maybe
Exactly.
just frequently ask questions, for your
That's it.
industry or something.
Ask me anything. People
Yeah.
do AMAs all the time. And
Mhm.
even this, have a little conversation with someone. That's the other thing. People are like, oh my God, I'm going to be on the video all by myself talk. Well, you don't got to be the talking head. If you don't want to be the talking head, be the host and get somebody else to do the talking. You interview them. All right. That's how you get out of that.
I love that.
That's
I
how
know
you get
because
out of that.
everybody everybody gets so nervous to be the host, and I'm like, "That's the easiest thing. You
That's
just
the
ask a
easiest
question
job.
and
You just come
listen."
up with the questions and they got to answer it.
So true, so
Yeah.
true. So, you have this formula, the ABCs of LinkedIn, so I'm excited. I love acronyms. They really help me to remember everything. So, let's go through the ABCs.
So the ABC. So the first thing is the A. The A is the attraction part, right? This is the
Mhm.
part where you want people to come to you. You want to make that magnetic profile. So you got to put
Mm.
your profile together so that people will search and you will come up in LinkedIn search, right? So you don't
Mhm.
always have to be trying to find people for business. Maybe they can find you. So you have to set
Mhm.
up your profile for success, right? And clearly the headshot, but people forget about the background. I can't tell you how many profiles I go to
Mhm.
and they have no background. The background is free real estate. That's your billboard. Like when you're
Mhm.
driving down that highway and it says Nike says just do it, is a quick message. You don't have to be long. You can talk about your services. You can talk about your products. You can have, if you have a big event coming up, and that's the other thing, the background is fluid. I would say change it
Mhm.
with every season. Don't forget about the background. And speaking of video, you have the video cover story. So I don't know if you noticed on some profiles, it got like an
Mhm.
orange halo around.
Mhm.
So that's a video profile. You click on it and you got your 30-second pitch right there.
Mhm.
So again, all that stuff happens at the top of the fold. And now the last thing they did, I don't know if you noticed, they got the little link now. So you could actually
Mhm.
have your little call to action link. You don't download my ebook or go to my
Mhm.
podcast, whatever that is, where you want to drive. And all of that action happens right at the top of the profile. So make sure you're taking advantage of all of those areas. I mean, even they just have the voice thing where you can say your name. That's 10 seconds, but you can say a whole lot
Mhm.
in 10 seconds besides
So
your name.
true.
Besides your name, people have full blown pictures in that 10 seconds. So
Yeah,
take
this is
advantage
so
of
true.
all of that. Right. And then of course the headline. The headline, that's the meat and potatoes, right? The headline is
Mhm.
about who are you, who is your audience, and what makes you so special. People want to know what's that secret sauce. You're a CPA, there's a million other CPAs. Tell me how you
Mhm.
are working differently for me. So
I
those are the components, right? So that's the attraction. Now the other part is the network, right? So
Mhm.
everybody's not going to have a million followers, but everybody knows a couple hundred, probably a couple thousand people in their life,
Mhm.
but they're not connected to them on LinkedIn. So the first secret in building
Mm.
out your network is making sure you connect to all your people. You
That's
have
good.
colleagues, past, present. You have people in your community. You have networking acquaintances, family and friends. Yes, they count on LinkedIn too. Make sure you are connected to everybody. I can't tell how many times I'm like, wait a minute, we're not connected.
Right.
It's always a surprise. You talk to people for years and then you realize, wait, we're not connected, right?
So
Until
true.
one day you're searching and you're like, wait a second, you want to get an introduction and it's from somebody you already know
Right.
introduce you, but you're not connected them on LinkedIn. So you want to decrease the what do they call it? The degrees of separation.
Right.
So you can actually, people don't even realize that you can upload your contacts into LinkedIn. And if they're using that
Mm.
email on their LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn will find them and match them up. And all you got to do is check the box, check, 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 and then say send.
Mm.
And it will send all of them an invite. And that's it.
Wow.
Just like that. Now,
Okay.
and the
That's
other
good stuff.
secret to building your network is using your alumni. Whether it's a high school alumni, a college
Mm.
alumni, on a university level, all of them got pages on LinkedIn. Go to your school's page and click alumni, and you can
Mhm.
sort by. Actually, there's 6 different ways you can sort. You can sort from location, you can sort by title, you can sort by company, you can sort 100 ways. And you don't need premium, by the way, to do this.
Wow.
So if
Okay.
you need to find people, and there's again, you go to school like me, I've been to school, that was years and years ago. So you lose touch with folks, but you go back into that alumni page and you will find everybody. Just, again, if they're on LinkedIn, they're automatically added to their school's page once they're on LinkedIn.
That's good stuff.
Yeah,
That's good stuff. So,
that's the big.
definitely now, so talk to us about before we get to the content, which is the last one.
Mm-hmm,
What type of routine should somebody have? So let's say that they want to just start out with LinkedIn
mm-hmm,
and they want this to be their social media platform.
mm-hmm.
What are some of these productive activities that they should be doing? Like, how much time should they be spending on the app? What's the protocol for how they can start building up their profile and connections and things like that?
Yeah. So, like anything else, if you want to spend all day on it, if you got that kind of time, but most people don't. So,
Right.
I mean, honestly, I would say in the beginning, you're going to spend a little bit more time because you got to build out the profile. You want to fill all of that out. So, that's going to take a little bit of time to get that right. But once
Mhm.
all of that's done, and even the networking, adding the contacts and building out your network, first time out is going to take a little longer. But after that, what's nice about having that complete profile, people will find you. So they'll be reaching out to
Mm.
you. So then you're going
Mhm.
to spend your time responding to those network invitations, right?
Mhm.
And it is okay to connect with people you don't know. But
Mhm.
did they send me a personal invite or did they just send me the generic, right?
Right.
Are they connected to other people I know or are they out of the
Mhm.
blue, right? Or like
Mhm.
what's their story, right? So do they
Mhm.
have a story? Are they out on LinkedIn, active on LinkedIn? So sometimes I get these
Mm.
invitations from people who have thousands, 20,000, whatever followers. I go to their page and it's crickets. They haven't posted not a thing.
Mm.
There's no interaction, which means, okay, so all you're doing is just trying to connect, but you're not
Right.
trying to build a relationship. The idea about
Mhm.
building a network is to build the relationship. So if you're not into building a relationship, then don't try and reach out to me. So that's a decline, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes you got to get a little CSI in there, and that might take a little extra time. but it's okay. It's all good. Over time you'll figure this out and you'll move through it a lot quicker. But I would say, every day, just the connection piece, 10 minutes a day. If you're,
Mm.
reading your feed, and then, sometimes people talk about pruning their feed so, people can follow you. You could actually unfollow people if you're finding that they're putting trash in your feed. You could unfollow them but
Wow.
stay connected.
I
So
see.
that's another little trick there. And then your feed will get cleaner, right? So all
Okay.
these things take, and you don't have to, like the pruning thing, maybe once a month you go in there. But I would say
Right.
on a daily basis, you're definitely going to be going in there interacting. Because remember, it's social. So you're having conversations. You are
Mhm.
responding to other people's posts. You're
Mhm.
commenting on others people's posts. That's how you build thought leadership. Because
Yeah.
when people see that you're saying something and they're listening to you, so not only the person that posted, but the other readers who are reading that post also read the comments. And then
Mm.
when you're saying things that, again, kind of establish yourself as an expert, now you're getting their eye, right? And now they're like, well, who's this person? And now they're looking at your profile. So that's another thing you can do. I would say don't worry as much about posting initially. Make sure you
Mhm.
get a feel for the lay of the land and get out there and start having conversations with people. And
Love
then
that.
you can determine sort of like what my thought leadership needs to look like and how you want to build that out.
Love that. Now, so do they have, groups on LinkedIn like they do for Facebook?
Yes, they do have
Okay.
groups. Now the groups don't work as and they keep saying they're gonna get better. I swear to God, it's like a broken record. They said they're gonna get better. And I'm waiting, LinkedIn, I'm waiting, but they haven't quite gotten there. So, but I'm gonna trust that they are working on that and they will get better. But a lot of the groups are a lot of junk. But you can go in
Mm.
there and you can search on topics, whatever you think you like. If you're into like me, I'm into social media, so I'm trying to find some of those groups and find be some of those experts. And also, if you're in a specific interest, again, I do a lot of work with nonprofits. In fact, if you're a nonprofit listening to this, LinkedIn has a great nonprofit group. Make sure you join
Mm.
LinkedIn's nonprofit group.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot.
Now, how does it work if someone is managing your LinkedIn, because we have a lot of people that are like, I don't have time. This is growing and all that. What are your thoughts on having other people do that for you?
So you got to be a little bit careful with that. For one thing,
Okay.
LinkedIn's rules and regulations say you only used to be managing your account. You should not
Oh,
be. But we know all these executive CEOs is their assistant is in there doing that stuff for them. They're not doing it all by themselves.
yeah.
That said, you have to have a really good sense of the person's voice, right? Because if you're doing this
Mm,
on their personal profile, you have to have a good sense of the voice. Now, if it's content that's related to the corporation, say, for example, it's an I don't know, an event, or maybe it's a new product, a new service, right?
mhm,
That's
mhm,
one thing. But like if it's something more personal that they want to share, then you have to
mm,
kind of sit down with them and kind of make
mhm,
sure you're getting the voice down right. And that takes some time to get somebody's
mhm.
voice down
Love that. Okay, good stuff.
right.
Now we're off to the C
The
and
C
the
is the
ABCs.
content, right? So you want to connect and collaborate, and it's all through that.
Mhm,
All that engagement happens through the content. Now, LinkedIn, like all the other platforms, has all these different formats. Now, we talked about video. That's one type of
mhm,
format. But the easier format that people don't do a lot with, which they should, is documents. So LinkedIn has an option where you can
mm,
upload documents.
mhm.
Now, you can take your anything, your what do they call the sheet that you have all the time? Ugh, I want to say
Agenda,
no. Like for
checklist.
well, so a checklist could be good, a good one. Anything that presentation that you might have
Oh,
recently done,
PowerPoint. You talking about
PowerPoints, but
PowerPoint?
not only PowerPoint. I'm thinking of something else. Like as a creative, you always have the one sheet.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And something like that. So any kind of document you have that's a PDF or PowerPoint, you can upload, write your little copy. And I find that those type of posts that include the document for me personally, get the best engagement. And
Mm,
they're the easiest for me to put up there because I always have documents because I'm always presenting. So I usually just pare them back. And I mean, there's some organizations out there that put 50-page documents out there almost daily,
wow.
one of the UN organizations, and they get thousands and whatever comments and likes and whatever. And I think what it is with the documents, first of all, whether it's portrait like the regular PDF or it's a
Yeah.
PowerPoint landscape, it just
Mhm.
sort of takes over your news feed. So you pick it up because it just appears bigger. And then
Oh,
if it's multiple pages, so you could open it up, and then if it's multiple pages, you're clicking through it, so you're spending longer on it. Because they
oh.
click. And actually, that also works. Speaking of that, the other thing that I do like, if you are going to put an image, put multiple images, put a gallery for the same reason,
Mm,
because people click through it. They click through it. And then also, just like on the other social networks, you can tag photos. So if there are people in there, you can tag them
mm.
on the photo themselves. So that way you don't have to put all those names necessarily in the copy itself. You could do both, but one or the other also works just as well.
Love that. That
Yep.
is good.
Yep.
So, like,
And and
what
and just one other thing, I just want to say, and just do different types of formats. I mean, people do polls. I mean, ask your audience.
Mhm.
Sometimes just text. People have said recently that their text, just regular text posts, no image, no nothing, have worked really well. They're getting a lot of engagement on that.
Mm. Now, I was gonna ask another question. Okay, for the documents, because
Mhm.
some people are like, I don't have anything to put up there. What are some ideas of some things that they could be posting in that format that could help them with, their content?
So people love how to. So if you could put a
Mm,
how to anything, you did something that nobody else knows. Trust me on that one. Put that together. Step one, step two, step three, in your little dot. It doesn't have to be that long. 3, 4 pages. It
mhm,
doesn't have to be that long. That's it. Checklist. If you have any kind of checklist, if you have a system that you use, put it together in the checklist. Bing, 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 bing. And because the other thing with the documents I should have mentioned, you can download them. Once you open them up, there's a little
mm,
down arrow at the top. and you can download that document.
Wow. Had no idea. This is awesome. So, what about endorsements, recommendations? How do we kind of create a routine with that?
So you definitely want to have at least, I would say, a minimum of 2 to 3 current recommendations within the current year.
Hmm.
And there's different ways to do it. So if you're like a coach and consultant, any kind of service provider, if you're doing photography, video, whatever, if you have your profile set up with the service page, people can actually not only write you a little testimonial, but they can do like the star, like the Yelp kind of thing on your
Oh.
service. If you don't have that, and you say you're in corporate and you're just getting recommendations, the key to getting a good recommendation is to write it yourself. Write it yourself. So when you go to somebody's profile and you request, you hit that more button and the down arrow pops up, and that's where the little, because it's kind of hidden, and it says
Hmm.
request a recommendation, right?
Hmm.
It'll pop open a little composer, right? And it has a little like, please recommend me. Put the transcript right in there, and then when you hit send, and then what you say is like, look, well, you know, I would like you to write your recommendation. Here's a sample. Feel free to edit. They don't or not. But you want to make it easy, because the thing is, it's not that the person doesn't want to write you the recommendation. They just get busy, and then sometimes is something that happened. Maybe not. It's not recent. Maybe it's a year ago or something. Even
Yeah,
for me, last month is like a long time ago.
exactly.
So make it easy for them, right? So put the key talking points, right? Because the last thing you want is a recommendation that says, Harriet did a good job. Harriet did a good job doing what?
Right. Right, because you want to be able to get those key
You want
skills
those key
listed. Yeah.
skills in there, right?
Hmm.
And especially again, if you're in corporate, right, and you've been doing that, whatever that work is, for a while, you don't want people to kind of talk about the same thing over and over and over and over. And at corporate, you have different projects. So you
That's
want to
true.
get people like project A, talk about project A, talk about project B, talk about project C.
Hmm.
So by talking about the different projects, all of the skills start bubbling up. So
Hmm.
you want to write that narrative. And then, of course, they can edit it, but they usually don't.
I love that. That is true. So this one, someone's listed. I don't know. Facebook user says
Right.
important to get recommendation
Yeah,
immediately after they
immediately after
complete
is
the.
is that is the best. But if
Hmm.
if it's not immediately after, that's when it's even more important to kind of write the talking points. So you want to make
Exactly,
sure
because
that
people forget. You're
people
right.
forget. It's yeah, they just forget. I mean, I got 3 kids. I don't remember anything.
Look, I say I'm over 50, and if I didn't write it down, something's wrong. Okay, because it's really might be out of my head by then. So
Oh,
I
it's
totally get
definitely,
that.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
over 52, so me and you together.
So this has just been very informative. So before we leave, tell everybody the best way to get a hold of you.
Well, of course, on LinkedIn.
I know
So
that's right.
hit me up on LinkedIn, Angela Pitter. I'm also on Twitter, Angela Pitter. And if you're an IG, Angela Pitter Speaks, but I'm not as active
Mm.
there. So, but come on over to LinkedIn and and just connect with me. Let them know you saw me on this show with the Supermom. Just remind me where we where we interacted, and it's
I
all good.
love that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. So what final words would you like to share with everybody as we close it down, whether it's LinkedIn, social media tips? I don't know. The floor is yours.
What final tip? Don't be scared.
That's a good one.
Don't be scared. I know, especially the 50 plus crowd. They're like, oh, I want to be out there. Get out there. It's all right.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Like I said, the first venture out may not be that good, but just keep at it and it will work out for you.
I love that. Yeah, I just connected with someone today. Their birthday's tomorrow. They're going to be 63. And I
Mm.
said, I remember that I used to think in the 50s was old, 60s, and I said, now that I'm there, I still feel young. I said, I must be like one of those people, as a kid it's like, now look at them dressing all young. I sit out now. I'm that person,
My
right?
80-year-old father used to talk about the other 80-year-old just like that. He's like, look at them. First time they just got out the house. I was like, first time you just got out the house.
So true. So true. So it is so funny. Be careful what you say because you never know. You might end up exactly like what you're talking about, right?
Exactly. But you know what? You got to change the narrative. So, I just say I'm 30 plus 20 years of experience.
I love my grandfather said that. He lived to be 90. So
Mhm,
yeah, that I love that. So
mhm.
it's all about your mindset and your
Exactly.
attitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful, Angela. And if you guys really got a lot of value out of this, one, share it. The next thing is connect with Angela
Mhm,
and get some more insight for your own personal profile because a lot of these things we really just don't know.
mhm.
So it's okay to have a conversation to ask,
Yeah, yeah.
and things change every day.
Oh my
It's like,
God.
I mean, LinkedIn is doing the audio, which I love. I mean, everything that they're doing, I love, but
I love,
it's
and
still new stuff. You got to
it's
learn
still
how to
new
do it,
stuff.
right?
It always got something new. I've been on LinkedIn since 2006, and let me tell you, it's changed a lot. It is
A
not
lot.
the same animal.
Yes.
It's not even the same animals. It literally, I would say, the most change came since 2020, when
Yeah,
COVID
I
hit.
believe so.
When
Yeah,
they got off that forced them a little match under them. They got off their button. They did a lot of stuff.
did a lot
It's
of
a
stuff.
much better platform.
So if you guys want to have that conversation with Angela, reach out. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and we'll be sure
Yep,
to get those answered for you as well. But
absolutely.
we want to thank all you guys. We have Elizabeth who watched with us. We have Guy. Let's see who else.
There was
And
Andrea.
Andrea.
Yep.
Yeah. So we thank all of you guys for spending time with us. And if you want to be on the show, you might be like, hey, she done lit a fire. I got some ideas to share. Reach
Mhm.
out to me so we can have you on. So thanks again, Angela. I really
Well, thank
appreciate it.
you for having me and really appreciate enjoying the conversation today. I had a blast.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again so much. And we will see all of you guys on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye.